Hi, my name is Bob Martin. I'm the executive director of the Presidio Theatre. My guest today is a wonderful choreographer and dancer and human being, Patrick Makuakāne. And his company, Nale Hulu, is really the premier Hawaiian slash, and he'll tell you everything in terms of all of the elements that make up his wonderful dance. But Patrick, thank you for being here. And I just want to start out with, have you had any dreams during this period of what we've been going through? Or do you have dreams about what's going to be next for you and for your company, and how the Presidio Theatre can hopefully help you reach some of those? And tell me what's going on.
Aloha, Bob. Thank you for the
Aloha.
invite. And aloha to everyone at the Presidio Theatre. All I've been doing is dreaming, actually. And a really important dream I've been having in this pandemic is one of just stopping the motion and just to reflect on what we have. It's sort of this forward momentum we had as a dance company, especially of all the things we needed to do this year, just kind of stop. And so what do you do with that? Do you just give up, or do you try and sort of reframe things to your advantage? And I'm a big believer in, if life gives you a lemon, well, make lemon bars. Can you see that?
No.
Yeah.
Man,
So,
I wish we could reach through the screen.
yeah, sorry about that. I'll have a bite for
Too
you.
tempting, really.
But in terms of stopping and reflecting, like for instance, look at this beautiful lei that I have on, which is made out of a'ali'i and my succulents. I have a succulent fetishist, I'm free to admit, because I just can't stop growing them. But with this a'ali'i, which is one of my favorite flowers from Hawaii, which is called a'ali'i, but here it's called a hop bush. HOP. The a'ali'i grows in your area near the Presidio and the Palace of Fine Arts, and really around my house, all over the city. And I've seen them more than I ever have, and they're flourishing wherever they grow. And my sort of educated guess to that is because of there's been less pollutants in the air and less toxicity. And they're bright crimson and chartreuse and all the different colors that you see in Hawaii. But in Hawaii, they grow on mountaintops, so there's no pollution. So you see them all the time. But here, so ingrained in me is the mind of a hula dancer. And every time I see them, my poor partner, how many accidents have we almost gotten into? I'm like, stop the car, look at all that a'ali'i. And it was my halau, my hula school flower growing up in Hawaii. So when I sent home a video of these a'ali'i trees in such beautiful profusion, everybody was freaking out. How many lei have you made? I'm like, I'm not gonna mow down the Netherlands, but I am gonna make like a few. But this enables me to have a discussion with my students about what it means to just stop, let nature take its course. Let's see what happens, and it gives us a time to sort of stop and reframe as to how we want to move forward as a dance community. Because we have a really, I think, a very powerful and committed community, and we care about the environment. I mean, all of our dances and songs are commemorative to our natural surroundings. That's all we do. We sing and dance how great our beautiful surroundings are, especially in Hawaii. So it's incumbent upon us to be great stewards of the land. And so we have these conversations about conversation and how we can be committed to the natural environment. How does that get placed into our dances and songs? Because we as hula dancers, we make these lei and we put them on and we dance and we celebrate different places. So this idea of us being very connected to nature has really come home for me during this time. And allowing, we say Papa is Mother Earth, allowing Mother Earth a chance to rejuvenate and have some of this time to refresh and to take care of herself, because we haven't been very good stewards. And I'm liking that idea of how we can further that along once this pandemic hopefully ceases. So it's this idea about stopping and reflecting and taking a look around and what can we do to continue this mindfulness about taking care of our surroundings.
Part of that, which is the other thing I want to talk about, is the soul. I mean, I think that that's also being tested. We're always questioning what it is. And, you know, the idea of talking about the soul of a theater or soul of a city like San Francisco, sometimes it's like, what do you really mean? But what does it mean to you? What is the soul of San Francisco? What is the reason that you were compelled to come here and to create your work in a place like this?
Well, for me, the soul of San Francisco is still very vibrant and still here. I have a lot of friends who have left the city. I'm probably one of the very few who left from when I first moved here in 35 years. And people say to me, are you going to go back to Hawaii to continue your work there? You're always going to be in San Francisco. Yes, I'm always going to be in San Francisco, because no matter the changes, San Francisco still has this soul of being a free spirit. Still, throughout all the construction changes and everything that you see, there's still a bohemian-esque expression of art and movement that I always want to be a part of that. And that has allowed our hula company to flourish. And it's funny because people say the same thing about Waikiki. Oh, Waikiki is so awful. It's just built with all these hotels and the tourists, and we never go there. But I went to Waikiki all the time as a kid. That was my hangout. So for me, I don't see that. I see the nostalgia. I still smell the same air and the sand and the sun, and I see different things when I go to Waikiki. Perhaps I'm still seeing the more bohemian aspect of San Francisco that a lot of people aren't, despite all the building and growth. But I'm always going to remain here. I always find that the San Francisco soul will be here. It's just a little harder to find maybe for some people. But you know where you can find it? Your theater. And I'll tell you why. You know, for Hawaiians, environment where you're going to have a talk, meet someone, engage in any kind of relationship, the place is important. People write songs about it, you know. And as soon as I got there, I looked around and I said, this place has very good very good character feeling, with the mountain and the trees and the ocean, all of that surrounding. The Presidio is a magical place, and you could tell that you tapped into that with that courtyard. And so immediately I knew I was going to perform there. I don't know when, especially now, but I'm committed to that because I know your theater is committed to keeping those really wonderful elemental designs around you as part of the theater while being state of the art, trying to put those things together. So I will be there because I know that there's a mindfulness.
And hopefully, you know, all of us together in that way can just, and I won't even say bring back, let's just say evolve the soul of San Francisco, and also make the San Francisco a place where the Bay Area artists, and one of the things our focus is artists who live here, make this their home. We'll have groups that come in nationally and internationally, but I would say the majority of our programming will be to focus in on the kind of creativity and the kind of talent like people like you know, are doing. People know you. Sometimes people know people better as artists outside of San Francisco than they do in, which is craziness. So we want that to change and have people to say, oh, this person lives here, that person, gee, that's what they've done. And, you know, I mean, you couldn't have somebody that represents that more than you, Patrick.
Thank you, Bob. And just having this conversation, something very clear came to me. When you asked about the soul of San Francisco, I'll tell you where the soul of San Francisco is. It's in the dance. It has always been in the dance in San Francisco, and it will never leave. No matter what grows, no matter how many changes, there will always be dancing in San Francisco and at your theater. So
thank you.
Can't wait to be there.
Thank you. Well, we can't wait for you to be there and for all of us to be there in person. But until then, because it's the second best thing, I'm just so grateful for you joining us. And again, seeing you will be such a pleasure, either in the plaza or on the stage. So aloha, Patrick.
Aloha, ki aloha mau mau, ahui ho, aloha.